dear viewers. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today, I'm going to be talking about Bhutan, and I'm going to analyze Bhutan's relationship between India and China. Hello. About Bhutan, first we have to know that Bhutan is a country which is very friendly with India. It has agreement from 1949, which says that India will uh, take efforts to protect Bhutan and that they will have uh, secure. They will take care of each other's security interests, and also uh, until 2007, India has controlled and influenced Bhutan's foreign policy officially. But in 2007, India and Bhutan signed a new agreement which said that India will no longer determine Bhutan's foreign policy, but both will continue to cooperate with each other. Now, what's happened in Bhutan so far is that uh, India has had a healthy relationship with them. India's invested in infrastructure in them, roads, railways. India's built hydropower plants there. But Bhutan has also tried to uh, develop its own foreign policy, especially with China, because it has border disputes with China. And uh, I want to talk about how it handles its relations with India and China, considering both India and China have difficult relationships with each other. To understand India and Bhutan's relationship, we have to first know about the geography of Bhutan. Bhutan borders India to the west and to the south and to the east, and with China, it is bordering to the north. Particularly, it borders the Tibetan Autonomous Region. Now, some people believe that Tibet is not a part of China, but Bhutan does not challenge Tibet as a part of China and recognizes it. Now, uh, India has an area called the Siliguri Corridor, which is also called the Chicken's Neck. It connects India to the rest of the northeast region, and India fears that Chinese invasion and potential isolation of the NER could happen if it invades this corridor. Now, this corridor is such that it lies along the border between India, China, and Bhutan. And in 2017, uh, China tried to build a road, a military road, in a region called Doklam, which is very close, which is in Bhutan, but is very close to the Siliguri corridor. And India opposed that construction and had India's sent its military forces to that area, and China, after a few months of negotiations, ended that construction. However, it has continued to build infrastructure along Bhutan's borders, but not in the same region. And so, about uh, Bhutan and India, that's basically what India is worried about with Bhutan. That if China can take away territory from Bhutan, then it can become closer to India, which would threaten India. So, and Bhutan, therefore, also uh, supports India because India is its biggest neighbor and is is someone like not a protector, but does have security interests with Bhutan and does support its military, does train its military, and does support Bhutan in its border disputes with China. And this is why Bhutan will likely continue its close military and strategic relationship with India, abiding by the concept of common security. Uh, and however, this has gone, uh, there was consensus amongst this in Bhutan's politics when they were ruled by a king, a monarchy. But from the turn of the century, Bhutan has had a democratic government from 2010 onwards, and they've tried to change Bhutan's policies. Um, this can this is because of internal politics, the economy, social media, and the generational shift. And this is because there is increasing pressure on the Bhutanese government to promote economic growth and reduce the country's unemployment. And many of them want the government to attract FDI from countries beyond India, including China. However, Bhutan continues to be integrated with the South Asian economy, such as India, Bangladesh, and Nepal, and it expects greater sustainable regional connectivity. For example, it has got involved with the building infrastructure between India and other three countries. And however, it wants to make sure that it's not swamped by visitors from these countries, which is why it does not allow free movement of vehicles to its borders. And with China, uh, basically, Bhutan views China as a threat because China has laid claims to Bhutan's territories. Um, we can see that the border talks between Bhutan and China began in 1984. They signed the guiding principles on the settlement of boundary issues in 1988 and the agreement on maintenance of peace and tranquility along the border areas in 1998. Since 1984, talks between Bhutan and China have largely focused on the two areas of dispute, including Doklam and other areas in Bhutan's west, near the Tri-Junction area, and the Jakarlung and Pasamlung valleys, located near Tibet to Bhutan's north. In 2020, for the first time, China laid claims to Bhutan's eastern Sakten region. This was the first time that it has made a claim on Bhutan's east since 1986. Now, uh, basically, the question is whether Bhutan should give in some territory to China in exchange for economic benefits because Bhutan can benefit a lot from China economically. It's difficult for Bhutan to manage these relationships. So, how do I think Bhutan should handle both the countries? I think that it should maintain its military and diplomatic ties with India. But I think that the fact that Bhutan's only embassy is in India and it uses this embassy to communicate with China, I think this needs to end. Bhutan should recognize China as with diplomatic relations, and this will help it deal with China on a equal footing because it'll be like two normal countries interacting with each other. And especially since they already have an agreement, a three-step agreement to resolve the border dispute, which I spoke about in a previous video, which I'll give the link to here. And yeah, so Bhutan needs to establish diplomatic relations with China at official level, but it should not antagonize India. So, as far as the border dispute goes, I think Bhutan should simply uh, stay strong and uh, hold the line and not give in to China's demands, simply oppose them because China has started building villages and houses in along the border and sometimes in the disputed regions, and it has continued to claim more territory, which can be seen in the claim of the eastern region. So it's not safe for Bhutan to think that if it gives some territory to China, that China will not claim more. It's risky for them to do that. So they can and as far as increasing economic ties with China, I think they need to be careful about that. I think they should focus on the service sector, such as IT, um, hotels, and hospitality and tourism. They should work with China to engage their economies more deeply in that area. But in terms of building infrastructure and manufacturing, setting up manufacturing plants, I think that should be reduced, if not totally uh, stopped, because if China builds infrastructure from its Tibet region to Bhutan, it could claim some of that infrastructure as part of its territory. And if it gives Bhutan loans for building this, for Bhutan to build this infrastructure, and it might try to impose high interest rates on them and may bribe or in other ways corrupt the Bhutanese politicians to implement these projects and therefore later get the country into debt, and then it can take over these projects in areas which would cause Bhutan to suffer a loss of territory and make them almost a vassal state of China, which would be very bad for them. And India's, although India does have a lot of influence over Bhutan, it does not uh, dominate and control Bhutan like a vassal state. It recognizes Bhutan's independence and does not claim any territory of India. So Bhutan should uh, trust India and support India in its security interests, but it should work on building its economy by uh, engaging in services with China. But mainly, the most important thing for Bhutan to do is to remove restrictions on its economy. It has several environmental restrictions against companies within Bhutan and foreign companies because it's for Bhutan, environmental protection is very important. It's part of their principle of having gross national happiness as their main goal rather than gross domestic product. And but I think they do need to relax some of the environmental restrictions and other labor restrictions, which can help industry grow there, industry businesses, which will, and if Bhutan can have its own businesses and companies, then it won't be dependent on other countries mean too much and can be self-reliant, which will really help it keep relations with China and India for its own benefit and not become too dependent on either one. So I can sum this up by in 3 points. One, uh, don't allow China to take any territory, but do increase economic ties with China in areas that don't leave Bhutan vulnerable. Two, maintain strong security ties with India and welcome India's protection that it gives against China. And however, don't become over dependent on India make sure you have ties with as many countries as possible. And three, economically develop so that Bhutan doesn't become dependent on either of the two powerhouses and can export goods and services to other countries and become wealthy and developed. So yeah, this is how I think Bhutan can handle its relations with India and China. And yeah, I hope that if I'm wrong, then Bhutan finds a better way to resolve these issues and that can have a peaceful and healthy future. Uh, so I just want to end this video by wishing good luck to Bhutan. That was the video. I hope you liked it. If you want to see other videos about nationalism in South Asian countries, click here. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I use for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Vande Mataram.